Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. It's very exciting to welcome all of you to this very special afternoon when Jared and Jolie will be called to the Torah as B'nai Mitzvah. And we very much look forward to their participation and your participation with singing and reading and being responsive. So please make sure you all have a prayer book. It's the most important thing that you can have tonight. The Mishkan Tefillah. And even for those of you who may be unfamiliar with our service or Hebrew or our prayers, you can follow along because there is English and transliteration together with the Hebrew. And just a reminder to all of Jared and Jolie's wonderfully expressive friends who have decided to all sit in the back tonight. We see it all and hear it all, so we would be very grateful, particularly on behalf of Jared and Jolie, if you would give them your full attention. They have worked so long and so hard and are anxious to truly show what they have come to understand for themselves. So let's get us in the mood, and it is time for Hine Matov.
Hine Matov u'maynaim shevirachim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'maynaim shevirachim gam yachad. Hine Matov u'maynaim shevirachim gam yachad. Matov u'maynaim shevirachim gam yachad. Hine 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 matov u'maynaim shevirachim gam yachad.
And we would also be remiss if we did not welcome all those who are watching us over our live webcast. And we are thrilled that they can be a part of our congregation as if they were actually sitting and participating with us. So we are honored. The very first thing that's going to happen now so that Jared and Jolie can begin to lead us in our worship service is they are going to be enwrapped in two very special talesim. They are gifts from their parents, and that's why I'm going to welcome forward Mark and Darby. And Jolie, Jared, come take your places down below in front of the congregation. As you are wrapped in this very biblical color of zahav, gold, and the beauty of the talit. And please repeat after me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, lehitatef b'tzitzi. Amen. Good. Give your folks a hug and come on up.
Jolie, hug your mother.
And we are going to continue now as we open our prayer books to page 338 for the Ashrei. 338. You don't have to do anything. That's fine.
It's fine, it's the same book. 338.
343. As Jared and Jolie continue reading in the English prior to the Chatzi Kaddish.
There are times when the love of God burns so powerfully within your heart that the words of prayer seems to rush forth quickly and without deliberation. At such times it is not yourself who speaks, rather it is though you that the words are spoken.
Thou comest, God, in the ancient speech, in long-loved sound, in comfortable prayer, sublimity brought near. Yet take from me the loveliness of words, barbed with the sting of beauty, essence of the heart, empty the goblet of the soul, and where no word is, God come thou.
On page 342, the Chatzi Kaddish. Page 344, we continue with the prayer, Tefillah. I would ask that you please rise and remain standing through the entirety of its prayer.
Adonai, sefatai tiftach, ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor ve'Hanara, El Elyon, Chomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'konei HaKol, Ve'zocher Chasei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi'u la'livnei bneihem, Le'man Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sara, atah Gibor Elam Aranai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav ve'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach morid hagashem, Mechakel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'nofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidom elach, Melech meimit umechayem, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol.
On page 349, Jared and Jolie continue reading.
Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good and not evil.
You are the source of life and blessing. Help us to choose life for ourselves and our children.
You are the support of the falling. Help us to lift up the fallen.
You are the author of freedom. Help us to free the captive.
You are the hope in death as in life. Help us to keep faith with those who sleep in the dust.
Your might, O God, is everlasting. Help us to use our strength for good.
For blessing and not for curse, for life and not death, for abundance and not want.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol. And we continue with the Kaddish.
מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמנו, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות,
You may be seated, and we are on page 353.
Our ancestors brought you spices and foods to gain your favor, O God. Most precious in our day is the offering of time. Accept this gift we have set aside, the sanctity of this full day. Oh, to revel in your presence, to celebrate the beauty of your handiwork, to rejoice in the gift of life.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
For the good in us, which calls us to a better life, we give thanks. For the strength to improve the world with our hearts and hands, we give praise. For the peace in us, which leads us to work for peace, we are grateful. For the gift of Shabbat, which renews us for life, we offer blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Page 355.
Adonai, our God, may we, your people of Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion, or stored, in all lands, you are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha ve'yira na'avod.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near to life, to peace, and to joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worthy in our study of Torah. Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness, restrain our thirst from excess, and cleanse our hearts to serve life well. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near in life and peace and in joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha ve'yira na'avod.
Page 357.
for the gift of our souls, for the promise of our lives, for all we are and all we might yet become, for the creative scenes sown within our minds, whose nurturing can yield a grand harvest. For all these gifts we thank you, O God, and pray that we prove ourselves worthy.
May our lives be ripe with the fruit of compassion, sweetly sustaining those in need. May we use our gifts wisely and with love, true messengers of blessing to the world. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
When we behold your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars that you set in place, what are humans that you are mindful of for us? We mortals that you take note of us. You make us little less than divine, adorned us with glory and majesty. You gave us domination over your handiwork, laying the world at our feet. Adonai our God, how majestic is your name throughout the earth.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot.
We're going to continue now with Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki atah melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atah melech Adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rav, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam. Tasim Le'olam.
Sometimes to realize how fortunate we are, we need to look to the past, to where we were, perhaps a year ago, this very weekend. And it was on this Shabbat, 1 year ago, that the American Jewish community became gripped as a small congregation in Colleyville, Texas, found itself in danger for just coming together to worship on Shabbat. Thank God that incident had a happy ending, but it makes us appreciate all the more how fortunate we are to be able to enter our sanctuary in good health and well-being and safety and secure in order to celebrate with Jared and Jolie. A year ago, perhaps we wouldn't have felt that, but on this Shabbat, we realize how very fortunate we are for two such young people, their older sister, their parents and grandparents, extended family and friends that have all come together. And so as we pause for a few moments of our silent prayer, let us hope that each time we desire to pray as a community, our safety will not be in our thoughts, only gratitude and appreciation for our blessings. We pause for a few moments.
Yosei Shalom Bimramav, Uyasei Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Yisrael, Ve'imru, Amen. Yasei Shalom, Yasei Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yasei Shalom, Yasei Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yasei Shalom, Yasei Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yasei Shalom, Yasei Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael. Yasei Shalom, Yasei Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael.
It's always exciting when we can prepare to take the Torahs from the Ark, pass them generation to generation, and have Jared and Jolie and their families walk around the congregation, showing the awesome responsibility they are accepting themselves and offering us to share in it as well. For those who may not be familiar, you may notice that there are those who will reach out with their prayer book or perhaps their prayer shawl to even kiss the Torah. It's a sign of reverence and a sign of respect for all the teachings that are within. And so to open the Ark doors, it's a pleasure to welcome forward Uncle David and Uncle Adam. I'm going to ask everyone to rise, please, as I welcome forward grandparents, parents, and Jared and Jolie.
Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah, Ki Mitzion Teitzei Torah, Odevar Adonai Mirushalayim. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch Shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
Number 2, right? Both of you, David, you got it. Face forward.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonai, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol
We're going to take just a few moments before Jared and Jolie chant from Torah and begin to tell the story of this wonderful new book that we began just this morning to talk about the Torah portion and its meaning. Why is it that for generations, going back literally thousands of years, we choose to read this portion over and over again, week after week, and tell a story that we may all be familiar with, but every time we look at it, we learn something totally different. And you will hear that from Jared and Jolie themselves, as each of them picked a different part of this portion known as Vayera and chose a lesson to teach us all. But what lesson can we help them understand? So Jared, Jolie, this morning in Temple, we started the new book of Torah, the book of Shemot, or the book of Exodus. And it is here that this story is actually the most familiar to Jews all over the world. And that's because we tell the story over and over and over again at a big celebratory dinner as we read from the Haggadah and tell the story of course, Passover. And the story starts now. In fact, it is Jared and Jolie who begin this afternoon's portion already telling us all about Pharaoh, Moses, and the plagues. So what is it, besides the wonderful lessons that you two are about to teach us, that perhaps we should remember about this portion? And it came to light that 19 times in this portion, 19 times we read that Pharaoh's heart was hardened, meaning he looked at the suffering, he listened to the pleas for compassion, he looked at the children, he looked at the elderly, and instead of having compassion, or as my grandmother would say, rachmanis, having a little feeling for the people who were suffering so, he became more and more stubborn, and his heart became tougher and tougher. And indeed, it happens quite often that when we see something over and over and over again, we don't become more attuned to what is looking at us, but rather we become perhaps sometimes numb to it, or we don't pay attention anymore. There are certain many issues in our world facing us like that today. We talk about it on this weekend of Martin Luther King. We look at those who live in poverty, those who are trying to immigrate and living on our borders, those who are hungry and those who are impoverished, those who have so little and could use so much. And we see this over and over and over again, Jared and Jolie, and yet, do we become more compassionate and more thoughtful? Well, I would say to we adults, no, we haven't been doing a very good job. Our hearts too have become hardened like Pharaoh's. But for you, Jared and Jolie, I can honestly say you have two very soft hearts. And that's because you are gracious, you are thoughtful, and there is never a time that I don't run into both of you, and you don't stop to say hello, and Jared will always add an extra, and how are you, Rabbi? And let me tell you how much that means when somebody just stops to say hello, acknowledge you, and ask how you're doing. Jared and Jolie have softened hearts because that's what has been exemplified for them. They are giving and they are caring. Oh yes, and they enjoy their friends and camp and dance and sports and all the things that are meant to be. But in preparing for this day of B'nai Mitzvah, I think you've learned from our story that there is so much more than just memorization. It's really how much you put into it is how much you get out of it. And indeed, they've put so much in. They are so good at what they're about to do. And I just hope they have a little fun doing it. So are you two ready to read Torah? To remind yourselves that even though you're going to read 19 times that Pharaoh's heart was hardened, the two of you will always be thoughtful, compassionate people, remembering that you read about Pharaoh and decided you would never act like him. Okay, I think we're ready. Jared, you're first up. How do you like the excitement? Come on up. And indeed he is. He'll be reading from the opening verses. Here we are. Of Vayera. So let's find it here. Okay. And I know we're using your yad. And Jared, before you chant, there are going to be those that are coming forward to bless. And the first aliyah are your aunt and uncle, Elise and Adam. Right over here.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bakar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Vadaber Elohim El Moshe, Vayomer Elav, Ani Adonai, Va'era El Avraham, El Yitzhak Ve'el Yaakov, Be'el Shaddai, Ushmi Adonai, Lo Nodati Lahem. V'gam Hakimot Et Briti Itam Latet Lahem Et Eretz Canaan Et Eretz Megurihem Asher Garuva.
Absolutely beautiful.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betuchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Please go over to the other side.
Just to my left. Thank you. Yes, you go.
And for our second aliyah, it's a pleasure to welcome forward your cousin Simon, who I believe just became a bar mitzvah.
Bahu et Adonai Havora.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Havorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'gam ani shamati et na'akat b'nei Yisrael asher Mitzrayim avidim otam va'ezkor et briti lahen emor livnei Yisrael ani Adonai v'hoseti etchem mitachat sivlot Mitzrayim v'hisalti etchem me'avodatam v'galati etchem b'zroa netuya u'vishfatim gedolim v'lakachti etchem lileam v'hayiti lahem le'elohim vidatem ki ani Adonai Elohechem hamosi etchem mitachat sivlot Mitzrayim.
אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורת אמת וחיי עולם נוטה בתוכנו ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
And for our third Aliyah, what a pleasure to welcome your parents, Darby and Mark.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Barach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Notei HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. והבאתי אתכם אל הארץ אשר נשאתי את ידי לתת אותה לאברהם ליצחק ויעקב ונתתי אותה לכן מרשה אני אדוני וידבר משה כן אל בני ישראל ולא שמעו אל משה מכוסה רוח ומעבודה קשה. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור בוא דבר אל פרעה מלך מצרים וישלח את בני ישראל מארצו.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tuchenu Baruch Atah Adonai Notei HaTorah.
Amen.
And now to call forward officially Jared as a bar mitzvah. It's wonderful to welcome back Mari, who earned this right just a few years ago.
Ya'amod Yohana Melach Ze'ev v'Devorah Likvod HaTorah HaBar Mitzvah.
Baruch hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hambarach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
והבאתי אתכם אל הארץ אשר נשאתי את ידי לתת אותה לאברהם ליצחק ויעקב ונתתי אותה לכם מרשה אני אדוני וידבר משה כן אל בני ישראל ולא שמעו אל משה מכוסה רוח ומעבודה קשה. וידבר אדוני אל משה לאמור בוא דבר אל פרעה מלך מצרים וישלח את בני ישראל מארצו. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לנו תורה אמת וחיי עולם נטע בתוכנו. ברוך אתה אדוני נותן התורה.
Amen.
Mari, you can go back down. Thank you. And now Jolie. Okay, Jolie, and before you chant from Torah, there are those that are coming up to bless, and it is an honor to welcome forward as we, for the first Aliyah, your grandparents, Lynn and Ronald Willis.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bakarvanu Mikol Ha'amin V'na'atal lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Emor El Aharon Nitei et yadeha b'mateha al haneharot al hayorim ve'al hagamim v'ha'al et hatvardeim al eretz Mitzrayim vayetz Aharon et yado al b'mei Mitzrayim v'ta'al hatzifardea v'techas et eretz Mitzrayim Vaya asuchen hahartumim belatehem Vaya alu et hatvardeim al eretz Mitzrayim.
Absolutely beautiful. Yes, blessing after.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet V'chayei olam natan b'tokenu Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
That's easy. Please come over to this side. Please come over to this side with us. Thank you so much. And for our second Aliyah, we welcome back Mari.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amin V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayikra Pharaoh leMoshe u'Aharon. Vayomer hatiru el Adonai v'yaser hatzvardeim mimeni u'me'ami va'ashalecha et ha'am v'yizbechu l'Adonai. Vayomer Moshe leFarao hitpa'er alai lematai atir lecha ula'avadeha ul'amecha leharchrit hatzvardeim mimecha umibataha rak or tisharna vayomer lemachar vayomer kidvarecha lema'an teda ki ein kadonai Eloheinu.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet V'chayei olam natan b'tuheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
And it's a pleasure to welcome back for the third Aliyah, Darby and Mark.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'saru hatzvardeim mimecha umibatecha umeavatecha umamecha rak by or tisha arna vayitze Moshe ve'aharon me'im paro Vayitzak Moshe el Adonai al devar hatzvardeim asher sam lefaro Vayas Adonai kidvar Moshe Vayamutu hatzvardeim min habatim min hachaserot min hasadot
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chayei olam natav b'teheinu, baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
And again, it is Mari who will call Jolie officially as a bat mitzvah.
Ta'amod Yosefa Esther Ze'ev Devorah Likvod HaTorah Bat Mitzvah.
Baruch Adonai Habarach
Baruch Adonai Habarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamarach Le'olam Va'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah
Amen.
Vayitzberu Otam Chomarim Vativash Haaretz Vayar Paro Ki Haya Haravacha V'hachbed et libo V'lo shama et alehem Kasher diver Adonai Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Amor El Aharon Nitei et Matecha V'hach et afar ha'aretz V'haya lichini B'chol eretz Mitzrayim Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet V'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah
Amen.
Mazel tov, mazel tov. Or you can go down. No, you can stay. You're going to give your blessing. Oh, you need to get it. Jolie and Jared, I'm going to invite you back because your parents are going to share a blessing with you. Come forward. And as we do so, I'm going to enwrap you both. As your parents enwrap you with their words, I'm going to enwrap you in your past history. One, Jared, with the talit that belonged to your grandfather, and that so he is with us in spirit and in presence as we take this talit and put it upon your shoulders as he wore it. And Jolie, the talit that you are wearing goes back on your mom's family to your great-great-great-grandfather. And it is really quite extraordinary that it's in such beautiful shape. And as your history enwraps you, now your parents will with their wonderful words.
Jared and Jolie, we're so happy to be here today, surrounded by family and friends, together watching the results of all your hard work and your dedication come together so beautifully. Looking around the room, it is so special to look out and see all the family and friends that have come here today to share this day with you. While there are some in the room that have known you since before you were born, there are so many others that are here who came into our lives through the two of you. We are so proud of you and not at all surprised by how you handled this milestone. While you are twins with a special bond you will sometimes acknowledge, you have always approached life with very independent identities and personalities. But it isn't your differences that got you here. It is the similarities. You both share strong cultural identities as a young Jewish adult. You both have a commitment to giving your full energy and a best effort in whatever you take on. You share a love of surrounding yourself with family and friends, and your similar competitive spirits help to push each other to the finish line. Anyways, in the interest of moving on to the part of the day that we know you're most looking forward to, I'm gonna leave it to Dad to talk a little bit about how we both think you're so fabulous later. What we stand here now to do is to give you a blessing for both of you for your future. But before we get to that, we want to make a promise to you. Our promise is to be there for you always, to celebrate and laugh with you in happy times, and to support you and wipe away your tears in those that are not so happy. We promise to continue to teach you, even if there is nothing you don't know, and guide you through life's adventures, choices, and challenges, of which we hope there will be plenty. Our prayer for you today is always remember that family is everything and how lucky you are to have the loving families you were born into, as well as the close friends who are the families we choose. We always hope you keep our Jewish heritage and culture as a central part of your life. May you have the good judgment and courage to make good choices in your life, especially when the good choice isn't the popular choice. Kill people with kindness, even if that kindness is not easy in the situation or reciprocated. Be inquisitive and willing to question the status quo. Your generation is inheriting a complicated and broken world. Figure out the issues that speak to you the most and be an agent of change to fix the problems. Use your strong opinions for the power of good. May you pick a path in your life that is based on your passions. Life isn't always fun and easy, but when you're pursuing your passions, it makes the daily grind a bit easier. Take things seriously, but don't be too serious. Be adventurous, explore the world, and have fun while doing so. We love you.
We are now going to lift and dress the Torah. It's a pleasure to welcome forward cousins Jacob and Matthew. I would ask everyone to rise, please. Okay, please. I'm just going to hold it up so he can dress right from here. Ready? No. Down. That's it. Just
V'zot ha'Torah she'sa Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Al pi Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yadadai, dai, 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 dai,
Today, Jared and Jolie will be reading from the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28, with Jared reading from the beginning of the portion and Jolie reading from the end.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nevi'im tovim v'ratzav v'divrehem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah u'Moshe avdo u'Yisrael amo u'vimdieh ha'emet v'tzedek. Ko amar Adonai Elohim bekavzi et Beit Yisrael min ha'amim asher nafot tuvam v'nigdashtivam le'enei hagoyim ve'ashvu al admatam asher natati le'avdi le'Yaakov ve'ashvu aleha lavetach uvanu vatim v'nateu charamim ve'ashvu lavetach ba'asotim shefatim bechol hashatim otam misviv otam ve'adeu ki ani Adonai Elohechem.
Lachen ko amar Adonai Elohim hineni noten Nebuchadnezzar melech Bavel et Eretz Mitzrayim v'nasa hamona v'shalal shilala uvazaz biza v'hayata sahar lehelo pe'ulato asher avad ba natati lo et Eretz Mitzrayim asher asuli neum Adonai Elohim bayom hahu atmiach keren levet Yisrael ulecha at etain pitchon pe betocham v'yadeo ki ani Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam sor kol haolamim sadik bechol hadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer ve'oseh ha'medaber u'mekayem shekol divarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al hanevim ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limenuha lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yitbarach shimha befi kol hai tamid le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
It is time for us to return the Torah to the Ark, and it's a pleasure to welcome forward now to open the Ark doors Great Aunt Patsy, Cousin Beth, and Cousin Kim. Would you rise, please?
It's
You may all be seated. It is now time for Jared and Jolie to share with you their interpretation of the Torah portion and what this day means to them.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you for coming out to celebrate with us today. First, I want to thank the rabbi and cantor for being with me through every step of the way to becoming a Jewish adult. Then I would like to thank my parents for supporting me in every way possible. Mom, I know I may be annoying when I forget stuff at school and put like 50,000 miles on your car every year, but I want to thank you for driving me everywhere and being so caring to me and helping me out a lot. Dad, I think it's really cool how you can eat 17 buffalo wings and still be hungry for dinner at home. I love playing baseball or basketball with you in the backyard or the driveway, and thank you for making me laugh with how you call it a sense of humor. Finally, I would like to thank my two sisters, Jolie and Mari. Jolie, I know we don't see eye to eye on everything, but I still love having you as my sister, other than when you make me go to your dance competitions. It's also really funny watching you to try throwing a baseball. And Mari, I love how you tell me everything in your life, except when it involves boys, but I figure it out sometimes. Also, I think it's really funny how you think you are a better skier than me. But in conclusion, I couldn't have asked for better siblings. So back to the Jewish part, my Torah portion is called Va'era. Va'era is about Jewish slaves in Egypt and the 10 plagues. God tells Moses to let the Pharaoh to free the slaves. Pharaoh said no because they were his slaves and it worked for him. Before all that, the reason that the Pharaoh in the first place enslaved the Jews was because he thought they would turn against the Egyptians. Anyways, Moses didn't even want to tell Pharaoh to free the slaves because he said he wouldn't listen to him. Also, Moses has a speech impediment, which is like a problem speaking. I don't really know. That would make Moses uncomfortable speaking to people. Joy will tell you what happens after. The lesson to take away from this part is that one person can make a difference. At first, Moses didn't want to be the person to speak up to the Pharaoh. He didn't believe he could do it. But he stepped up, and look, his actions led to the Pharaoh freeing so many people. Moses stepped up and put the greater good ahead of his comfort, to be a leader and free the slaves. Helping people is one of the best values a person can have, and I believe if you help someone, someday people will help you. Becoming a bar mitzvah is one of the most important things that I believe a Jew can do. You are leading your own service, and right now I am teaching you many things. Becoming a bar mitzvah is becoming a Jewish adult and becoming a bigger person. As a part of becoming a bar mitzvah, I did a mitzvah project. My project was to support a toy drive for an organization called El Centro. El Centro supports families who are just arriving in the United States. People that are arriving may not have enough money to get their kids gifts for the holidays, and I took it upon myself to help them. So I ran around to all the Hebrew school classes at this temple and made a presentation, and I told them to help the charity and enjoy toys. My family also promoted on social media. I'm proud to say that we have received so many toys for kids of all ages. I went to the party where Santa gave out the toys, and everyone was so happy. All the kids got toys, and you should have seen the smile on their faces. If you participated in this, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. As a continuation of this project, for my school's MLK Day service this Monday, we'll be putting together bags for birthdays. Each bag will contain things that families need to put together for a birthday celebration. Things like cake mix, frosting, candles, decorations, and more. I'm going to finish by saying a personal blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Peace and happiness for the world and everyone around me.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for coming today. First of all, I'd like to thank my parents. Mom, you've been my biggest supporter since day one. I would like to thank you especially for making you wake up at 5 in the morning to do my hair and makeup on competition days. Thank you, Dad, for trying to teach me how to catch a ball and for going on hikes with me. I especially loved going to Ricky's after. Mari, thank you for talking about Taylor Swift with me. It's a conversation I like having with you because it's one thing you won't yell at me about. Jared, thanks for playing ping pong with me and trying to teach me hand-eye coordination. There's no one else in the world I'd rather be twins with. Also, thank you, Rabbi Masnitsky and Cantor Benway, for preparing me for this day. As Jared told you, my Torah portion was about the 10 plagues that God cast upon Egypt. When Pharaoh denied Moses' request to free the Jewish people, the plagues started. My portion talks about the first 2 plagues of frogs and lice. Just imagine waking up with frogs in your bed and a week later lice in your hair. All because the ruler of your country was so scared of being turned against. This portion should make us consider how people who need to flee their homes are treated. The Pharaoh was so afraid that the Jews were going to turn against him that he turned against them by enslaving them. And in the end, he suffered consequences for how he treated them. I think this lesson still applies today because there are always people who need to leave their homes due to things like famine and war, and hopefully they can find a place to go where they are welcomed. I'm becoming a bat mitzvah because being Jewish is an important part of who I am. It is an important tradition that I want to carry on in my family, and it means more responsibility in the Jewish world. For my mitzvah project, I'm creating care packages for people that have to travel to see a doctor that I used to have to see. For those of you who don't know, when I was 4 months old, I was diagnosed with a vein of Galen malformation in my brain. The simple explanation is that I was born with arteries in my brain, or there should have been veins and capillaries, so I had too much blood flow going into my brain. This disrupted my brain fluid and caused me to have hydrocephalus. The very long story short is that my parents found out that the best doctor to treat this condition was in New York City. His name is Dr. Alejandro Bernstein. I had 9 brain surgeries with Dr. B from when I was 4 months old to 4 years old when I was declared cured. I was lucky that my family could afford to travel to the best doctor, but a lot of other families struggled to do so. I'm creating these packages to help make other families stay in the hospital easier and more comfortable. They contain items like Uber, Starbucks, and DoorDash gift cards, baby blankets, books, water bottles, and slippers that the patients and parents staying at the hospital with them can use. With the help of generous donations from family and friends, we started delivering the care package items to families being treated by Dr. B this month, and we'll deliver the rest of the baskets to Dr. B's team in New York City later this month. We also have a grandmother of a vein of Galen baby in Boston who's helping assemble and deliver the care packages to the patients of another doctor there who has become prominent in the field. Finally, I would like to end with my own personal blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. I wish for good health and happiness for all my friends and family.
Jared and Jolie, Mazel tov. You can breathe. You did it. It has been such a wonderful journey, watching you grow into the people that you are today, watching you prepare for your B'nai Mitzvah and learn the trope and truly succeed in more ways than you could show here today. You are both such kind individuals with playful spirits, vast curiosity, and I pray that as you continue on as Jewish adults, lean on each other. You are each other's person in this world, and you have a community here that loves you both. You have a family that adores you, and you are blessed in so many ways. Do not take those things for granted. You are lights into this world, and I wish you only mazel tov.
Thank you.
So what I really want to know is how these 2 womb mates managed to find such, what do you call that, so-called sense of humor? That so-called sense of humor, which really came from within and shines without from both of you to all of us. So thank you not only for raising our spirits today, but raising our hearts and raising our consciousness as well. And we want to thank you. And your congregation wants to thank you. And there's been a very special man wrapped in a brand new, beautiful talit that he is wearing for the very first time. And what an occasion to do so. It's the president of our congregation, Greg Paradise. Just stay right here.
I'll try not to read mine as fast. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Congratulations to Darby and Mark and all of the other family and friends that have traveled from near and far to be with us here today. Thankfully, neither the storms nor air traffic control meltdowns kept anyone away. So Jolie and Jared, I know that you both worked very hard to prepare today, and it definitely showed. You both did a fantastic job with everything. I enjoyed watching your parents and family all beaming with pride. See, beaming with pride. Even Mari looked kind of impressed. You don't get a free ride. So I met both of you many years ago, shortly after you moved to Warren. Through the years, our families have been able to share many experiences together, from holiday dinners and barbecues and pool parties, and even time up at our lake house. I've enjoyed being able to watch you both mature into the great young adults that you are today. So Jolie, I know you love dance, and dance, and dance. Does that cover all your classes? And I know you also love camp, and sure, it's fun, but I know how much you value your friendships, both at camp and at home. And I know you are very loyal to your friends, which is a trait you share with your parents, and it is an important one that you should seek to maintain for the rest of your life. Jared, of course, we have to start with your love of sports and team sports. I know your favorites are baseball and basketball, but I think you'd join any team, like a water bottle flipping team if it existed. Do kids still do that? Just flip it? I know when I was coaching, that's all they did all day long, is just flip those bottles. But while you love competition, I know that you really love and value your friendship with your teammates. Just last night, I saw the warmth with which you embraced the arrival of one of your friends, who will remain nameless. But it was so nice to see more than just the normal grunt of acknowledgement that most kids give. I also know both of you love to travel and experience new things. Your inquisitiveness and quest for learning will serve you well in life. And this provides a great segue into the gifts I have for you from the temple. The first one is a passport to Israel from Jewish Federation of Greater Metro West, which can help you on your quest for more travel. As my family and I just returned from Israel 2 weeks ago, after a trip with Rabbi Misnitsky and other temple families, I hope you both can experience this amazing country for yourselves someday. We also have your own Kiddush cups, which were designed for Temple Har Shalom, teen memberships to the Bridgewater JCC, copies of Rabbi Salkin's book, Text Messages, a Torah commentary for teens, J&F certificates that trees have been planted in Israel, something that we did right on our arrival in Israel. This is a gift from the Temple Sisterhood. And we also have certificates from our temple that commemorate this date. Jolie and Jared, on behalf of myself, my family, the entire temple board and community, I wish you and your family Mazel Tov on this fantastic achievement. We wish you all the best in the future. Congratulations. Good job.
Well, I know that we've finally arrived at Jared and Jolie's favorite part of the service, the end. But no, we've had so much fun here, but they are anxious to get started in the celebration, which they have rightly deserved. And so we're going to conclude our service as we turn to page 586 with the Aleinu. And I'm going to ask everyone to rise, please. Come open the doors.
שלא שם חלקי
us please. It is our honor now to bestow upon you a blessing that was first bestowed when you entered this world, and God willing will continue to be bestowed at every happy, joyous, and Jewish occasion in your lives. May God bless you and keep you. May God shine upon you and always be gracious to you. May God grant you now and through years ahead, just like Moses, 120, with spiritual, mental, and physical well-being, as we all say, Amen.
Sippin' top, mazel tov, mazel tov, sippin' top, sippin' top, mazel tov, mazel tov, sippin' top, sippin' top, mazel tov, mazel tov, sippin' top.
I would ask that we please remain standing, for just as our joy is increased by the presence of everyone here, so is our memory increased, the meaning of this day, as we call to mind those of Jared and Jolie's family upon whose shoulders they stand this very day. And I call your attention to the list of his grandfather, Stan, of cousins and great uncles, and of great grandparents. With their names and thoughts, so we add them to those who have died in recent days and whose yortzites are commemorated. Always as a congregation, we remember those who have no one left to remember them, and those members of the American Armed Forces and the Israel Defense Forces who have given their lives in defense of our nation and the land of Israel. Page 598, we recite together the Kaddish prayer.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei amhaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudusha b'richu, le'olam mimkol birchata v'shirata, tishbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom mibromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
We pray that the source of peace will send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us, as we all say,
Amen.
And you may be seated. Once again, on behalf of all of us here at Temple Har Shalom, our heartfelt best wishes of Mazel Tov to Jared and Jolie, to Mari, and to, of course, parents Mark and Darby, and grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins, and all who are ready to celebrate together. As we conclude with our closing song of Ein Keloheinu, I'm going to welcome forward Mari, cousins Simon and Evan, and cousins Maya and Anna. Come on up and let's start singing.
Please join me on page 626.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kema Moshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Makenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Makenu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Makenu, Atahu Moshienu.
Lift up those Kiddush cups, and here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Take a sip.
L'chaim.
Guys, pull the cover off the challah. Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Please take a bite. And to all of you, a Shabbat Shalom. Pull it apart. Go. Go, go. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. Good.
She always misses when you guys are here. But she was here this morning for Tachibot. Yeah. She's like, pick a time. Should I come in the afternoon or in the morning? Hi.
Nice to see you.
So nice to see you. That's so true. Yeah.
Better without a mask. I gotta run to see it.
Okay, have a great time.
Thank you.
Good night, Alex. Good night, Kenter.
Good night, Greg. Hi.
How's it going?
Going fine. How about yourself?
Good.
Are the kids easy today?
No, that was one of the more challenging weeks we've had.
Oh, really?
I knew it was gonna be, because Joey's always, he's one of the sharper kids. At the other bar mitzvahs, he's one of the regular kids.
Really?
So I knew his friends were gonna be, I knew Joey. They were all right. They're kids.
They're kids.